discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering you a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial membership. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/BGUnlocked. The link is in the description below, and now enjoy the video. Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Edge of Darkness. I want to preface this with a couple things. One, this was the game that Rado talked about, that whenever he was like, this is the #1 game I'd get at Gen Con because it's never going to hit retail. And I'm like, oh shit, I got it. I think he was talking to me. He's like, or just people with crippling addiction and low willpower.
Fool will fall for this.
But this is also the one he actually commented on my video because I was like, you SOB. So, Rado, if you see this, I love you.
Please marry me.
Marry me. Leave your wife and marry me. No, obviously it was all in good fun. But I will say I'm actually very glad that he spoke so highly of this. I really do like this game. I think it is a very interesting twist on deck building because deck builders, one, I used to absolutely hate deck builders. Like, for some reason I couldn't ever think in my mind that they were thematic. And some of them aren't. Some of them are you're literally just building a deck.
Well, yeah, this one is Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, this is, I mean, actually, what the hell is that? You rip off Edge of Darkness, it says Lord of the Rings. Like I said, I used to hate deck building, and then something happened. I don't know. Oh, I started, Aeon's End turned me on to deck building. And then I started playing more thematic deck builders, and then somehow my mind just switched to, I can inadvertently make them thematic using my imagination versus having the game force the theme upon me. So like in this one, for example, whenever it's like, oh, I'm going to send someone to the Capitol Hall, and then, or actually one of the better, easier ones, is I'm going to send someone to the War Council, then immediately take them off to go on a hunt. It's like thematically, yeah, if that's the mechanic. If you just think that, then it's going to be very boring. But it's like, no, they went and met at the War Council, gathered up their forces, then left to go fight off in the Blight. So that's how...
Yeah, I always had the War Council, or the Council from Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh,
like,
that's a good one.
Surrounding the table and like,
we're going to go do this.
And they're all standing there like awkwardly as they get into like their NPC. They're like, yeah, Josephine with like her, but she's like... It's like, why are you fucking...
Wax is dripping on all those important documents, and you're like, those are sent to the king!
Cullen comes in and he's just like...
Right.
It's like, okay, we get it, you're handsome.
Morgan's like, boobs.
Elves. I know more about them than you.
Right. So that's what I do here, and I think the game does a really good job with doing that. But yeah, so since it does a very different take on deck building, because you're not building a deck for yourself.
The deck is building you.
Well, no. You and all the players are making a shared deck. So what do you think about that?
Well, it's cool. I'll give them that. I like to build things for myself, for me, myself, and I to use for me.
Yeah.
So it kind of throws me off that it's like, oh, that's so cool that I'm not going to get my cards back until like way later. So that kind of throws me off.
Well, that could happen anyway in a regular deck builder.
It will.
Like eventually, and that's how I kind of see it, because in a regular deck builder, you still could not get your good cards till way later.
But it shouldn't be a fight to just get my cards.
But you will get them in here no matter what. Like, I can use them, but I have to pay you to do so, and then you will get them back.
Yeah, but like, there's no guarantee that it's going to be a good card later.
But it's your card that you built. Like, if I use your card that you're wanting, you will get it the very next turn.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that. You're going to get your cards eventually. That's the eventually part. Like,
yeah.
The only difference is in a traditional deck builder, they're your cards.
Yeah.
And you get them.
Yeah. I will agree. It is very, very weird. Because, yeah, inherently you're like, wait, so I'm building up these cards to not use them immediately, and how I've had to deal with that is that, well, I mean, I'm buying cards in a regular deck builder that get shuffled into my deck and they could be at the bottom and I never get them. That was always a complaint with deck building. It's like, I bought this, why can't I use it now? At least in this, you get to pick a card from your hand, so you have 3 cards.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, what do I have? Okay, I'm gonna grab this. I have the advisor, so I can send people there, but I need 5 money. I have 2, so I'm gonna grab the treasury officer and slot him in and immediately get the money. Like, I think that makes this game really, really cool because you're no longer at the whim of just, oh, lucky me, or unlucky me. I've played deck builders where, in fact, one Devin and I just played, he won because, one, he went first, and he just got a better hand than I did. So, I think this game does a really, really good job at
keeping the deck small for starters.
That is also a very good point.
There's not 5,000 cards that you get to go through.
Yeah, you don't have to burn through cards to be like, okay, you don't have to buy specific cards to remove cards from your deck to thin it out.
Yeah.
This one is the card crafting I think is really cool. I always thought that mechanic was neat anyway. And Mystic Vale, which you didn't play, I only played the base game of it. It was very boring. That was your traditional deck. You card crafted into your own deck. I just thought that one was kind of boring, but there's a bunch of expansions out that might have made it fun, more campaigns and stuff. But that's not the point. This one, you get to do the cool card crafting, and you get to benefit off what other people do, which I think that's really neat. I like the idea of actually sharing the deck and being like, okay, well, his cards are all the way up there, and I could take them, but then he's gonna get them, and I have to pay him. So I guess I'll just spend my influence to skip it. I also love the fact that you can skip cards at the cost of influence.
Yeah.
So all the resources that you're managing are very important. Money is incredibly useful because that's how you train your agents, and that's how you get allegiance cards and all that. And influence is very important because that gets you the cards that you want. Is there anything that you don't like about this game?
I don't like card drafting.
I don't like this game. You don't like card drafting?
Or not drafting,
deck building?
Deck building, yeah.
Oh.
Depending on how the card drafting goes, sometimes I don't like that either, but, yeah, I mean, that's not a shocker. I've never really been like, fuck, yeah, we're playing
You like Aeon's End?
deck builder. Yeah, that one's harder to peg because we played so much of it.
Yeah.
Then I'm kind of, I do like Aeon's End. Please don't ask me to play. But even then I have my beef with Aeon's End, too.
No, you don't.
I do.
You gave that a 9.
Still got beef with it. I'm not giving this a 9, I can tell you that right now.
So basically, ignore a lot of what she's saying. And then
It's
just,
a 1. No, it's
and then listen to what I'm
unplayable.
saying.
I mean, I don't dislike anything.
Okay. Well, then I will continue to
Yeah.
talk, and you can chime in whenever you feel like it.
Yeah, I have been.
The other thing that I really like about this game is the sheer amount of variety that you will get with this game. Now, granted, this is a Kickstarter game, so these are cheap, and I mean, I have my qualms, but a lot of them is mainly like mechanically versus like the actual game itself. But like the miniatures are Kickstarter, they're upgrades. The coins and all that, those are all upgraded. And then I don't know how many locations come in, but I don't even know, like Rollo said, I don't know if this is ever coming to retail. Probably not, but which is surprising because the AEG is a big company, so you'd think that they could put it to retail, but maybe not. They are also actually about to go back on Kickstarter for another expansion, and the first expansion, the Sands of Dunestar, added, how many locations? They added 13 locations. So the 10 that are here, that was from just the tale from the player's handbook. Like, so you can kind of go through a story in this game. It's not really a campaign. It's just, hey, play 8 games of this, and the first 4 are too easy when the different mechanics that are thrown in. But there are these 10. Then there are all these. these are all different locations, and this does include the expansion, the Sands of Doomstar expansion. But each of these locations has their own deck of cards that get assigned to them. And what makes this game fantastic is that you can go through the player handbook and do the different chapters or different stories, which will tell you which locations to use. But the game also comes with randomizer cards, so you can randomize your your locations, and that'll give you a completely different way to score points, play the game, go on hunts, and stuff like that. Different types of enemies. I like how these are double-sided. I really like the fact that your powerful cards, like your level 3s, can cycle and be enemies. To be like, oh, that's gonna attack me. Great. That right there is 6. So I can't defend against that, or stuff like that. I don't know. This game just does a lot of really neat stuff, and it does such a difference on deck building that makes it fresh. And because if this was one, hey, you have agents and you put them on locations, but you're still building your own deck, I don't think it would work as well. I think it'd actually be like the points. It would just be. I think it'd be too broken. Like, because you could definitely just, cycle through Capitol Hill over and over and over and over.
Oh, like if you just get to use your agents freely?
Yeah, or if you got to use your cards, like if you built your own deck. And you'd be like, oh, I'm always going to take this one and the money one, this one and the money one, and I'm just going to cycle that, so I'm just constantly just, getting money and then doing the Capitol Hall. So then, I don't know. I like the allegiance slips, that's a strategy you can go for. Like, the more allegiance you have, the more your enemies might have, or the other players might have to take your cards.
Yeah.
And then pay you to use them. And the better you build them, the more tempting they are. Like, there's one that I was like, yeah, I'm going to take yours, and paying it is worth it for me. What were you going to say?
Oh, they're worth endpoints, really.
That too, yeah.
Mostly.
And I even think, so we've done the first story twice now, yesterday and then today, and I went for a completely opposite strategy to see how it would work. Like, my entire strategy was to get a bunch of money. My initial strategy was to do the Grand Library, and the Grand Librarian just get a bunch of money
it's
and
very tempting.
And pay 15 coins to get 6 reputation. That didn't work out as well. I think I used him once. So my secondary strategy was to do the Capitol Hall and get a bunch of allegiance.
Yeah.
Which was the big point spread. And I think I don't know what your strategy was. You kind of did a little bit of everything.
Play the game better than I did last night.
Yeah, the secondary game on this particular location or particular story was way closer. Like, I think the first game we played was like 52 to 32.
Something like that.
Or something like that. And this one was 62 to 51.
Yeah.
So 9-point difference. Oh, sorry, 8 3/4 difference.
That's right, yeah. Don't ever fucking forget that.
I won't, I'm so sorry. I like how the endgame scoring is not some grand thing where it's like, okay, whoever has the most reputation gets 2 points. Whoever has the most people, 2 points. Whoever has the most of this, 2 points. Like, it's just because you don't like endgame objectives anyway.
Yeah. I don't like too many.
Right, where it's like, okay, here's all the endgame goals, and I met every single one of them, so it was 20, 21 to 19, and because of endgame goals, it's now 62 to 20.
Yeah.
So
2 out of 10, you lost points.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think this is really neat. Like, just the sheer amount of variety, even in the one game, was very surprising.
Yeah.
And I can definitely see some people obviously not liking this. I think the biggest qualm people have is the shared deck.
Yeah.
Like, and how your cards can become enemies, and they like, I don't even get to use them. It's like, no, you will. Like, eventually, someone's gonna take it. Like someone will take it, you pay you to use it, and then you'll get it right back. Or it'll be an enemy that you can go fight and get a bunch of reputation, and if it doesn't fight and it attacks, then you'll get it. Or you'll draft it and you'll get it. So Like, I just like it. If it was shared where there was really no chance at all, like if you got to use my cards and put them in the discard pile, I would hate this game. That would be so dumb if it's like, oh, I get to use it. No, you never get to discard pile. So you have to hope you can draft
then
it.
it wouldn't make sense.
That would be awful. I like the combat. Combat's very straightforward.
Right, yeah, no bullshit.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just, hey, that's how much they're attacking. If you can't defend against that, I like how you can only lose one.
yeah.
It's not like, oh, I
You
lost
tank
by
so
4.
fast,
Yeah,
yeah.
if you're like, oh, first attack, all right, I'm getting 2 points.
Yeah.
I like that. I like. What do you think about the agents? Like, and their uses.
I mean, it's really the cards. The agents are just literal pawns.
They are. It makes it like this a slight worker placement kind of.
I guess. Yeah. It keeps it fresh. That
Yeah.
way you're not like so reliant on your cards.
Yeah.
At least you can be like, okay, well, thank God I've got agents available.
Yeah.
Really, the most entertaining part about them is that I've set them up, and they're all doing the good game high fives right now. Good game, good game.
Okay.
These guys are doing
The woogie
Yeah.
from Rocket Power.
He's waving at someone.
Pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I like the fact that that they do have multiple uses, and some of the locations you can't pull them off inherently, like the City Watch, and that's even thematic. Hey, they're guarding the fucking city, or watching over the city, so they're doing a job.
I'm gonna leave now.
And you have to use your guild to pull them, like from their job to be used elsewhere. I like how you can place it. I also like the free flowing of turns. Like, it's not like you can only do one action. You can only do this and this and this. I like how it's like, here are your cards, here are the locations, do them in any order you want.
Yeah, and I've always struggled with that because I need structure.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
I enjoy structure. I like it.
it's this.
Sometimes when it's open like this, I'm like, what?
Yeah, this is one of those games that you do want to play multiple times, because if you, since it is so free flowing, then you're gonna be like, okay, what do I do?
Where do I start?
Exactly.
Exactly.
And that's why I also think they did a really good job with the rulebook. The rulebook is actually really good because, one, it instructs how to, like, one, obviously how to play, but it also has strategies in it. Like the 7 strategies that I read to you.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever it's just like, yeah, advice on strategy, sleeving, drafting, short-term, it just kind of tells you, hey, here's a little bit of things to keep in mind while you're playing this game. I think this game is just super solid, and it makes me even more excited to just try out different combinations of locations and stuff like that. I hate this tower. There's my negative.
Get your
I actually
shit
don't hate the
together.
tower. I really like how the creatures attack. Like, I like how there's no phase where they just kind of cycle through.
Yeah.
How it's up to chance on who they're gonna attack.
But specifically how the cards are being held.
Yeah.
The lip either needs to be longer outwards so they can actually lean back.
Yep.
Or it needs to be deeper so they can set down in there.
Well, maybe I'm just not.
Maybe you're just autistic.
Maybe I'm just not pushing them in deep enough. Well, this one pushed them in. This one, it's still not great.
Yeah.
Like, it's just really kind of annoying because you also can't really see them.
Aesthetically, you want it like lean back a little bit.
Yeah.
So I see your qualms.
Like, I like the tower, like I said, and there's even some strategy in that because you can look at it and be like, okay, I have a lot of cubes in that one. If I can attack them first, then that'll wipe all those cubes out.
Yeah.
And then they just get replaced. And then if it's mine, it'll come to me, and I get a bunch of points. Just, the mechanically, the way the game plays, there's actually nothing that I dislike. I'm really trying. Like, I'm really trying to think of things that I don't like.
I mean,
I
it's
like
okay
how the
if
better
there's not
hands
a
you...
lot.
Huh?
I said it's okay if there's not a lot.
Right. But I definitely don't want to... I don't want it to seem like, oh, Rother said this was great, so it's like, that's not true.
The cube trays were depicted to be round.
They were depicted to be round, but I see why they're square now, because there's spots for it there.
Well...
and those are square. I like how the determination of threats that you're dropping in is determined by your hand. So the hand that you draft, you're willingly taking on more threats and more opportunity to get attacked.
Yeah.
So yeah. So teardown. I mean, their card crafting thing is just awful for teardown because you have to take everything out from game to game. And the insert's not the best. Like, you just kind of have to stack the cards. It'd be nice if they were actually like divided, like so they were all so you can just easily take them out.
Yeah.
But I mean that's nitpicking at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's our thoughts on Edge of Darkness. We'll do scale of 1 to 10. Kat.
Well, now you go first.
No, because I know mine's gonna be higher, so I want to end on a higher note. Because I know yours is gonna. I could probably take a guess.
Go ahead and guess.
You're probably gonna give this like a 6.
I was gonna give it a 9.
You were not gonna give it a 9.
Yeah, because why not?
Because you don't like it.
No. I mean, but like you told me to rate them objectively, or not like take my feelings into account. So I mean, like, if the only thing I don't like is the fact that I don't get my cards immediately, like, if you don't choose them, if you don't choose to use them,
Mm-hmm.
then like, they get bypassed for a while, and that's it, and why not?
Uh-huh.
I mean, if the game is sound, like, there's no mechanics that I was like, that's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
The game works, it does what it sets out to do.
That's what they did what they wanted to do. It's like, yeah, that's every game.
I mean, I could give it an 8.
I want you to give
if
you feel like you should give it.
Well, then yeah, if I'm allowed to rate emotionally, then I'll drop it to an 8. Like, if just because card drafting games aren't my, not drafting, deck building games aren't my thing. But I mean, like, it's a good game.
So if I brought this out to play it again, you wouldn't be like, ugh.
Not inherently, no. I mean, I probably wouldn't want to play it tomorrow just because that would be the 3rd day in a row.
Well, right. There's a lot of games. I mean,
that's just with anything.
That would be pretty much with anything.
But yeah, like,
I don't even think I could play Scythe, my favorite game.
I'm done with
every
Scythe for a while.
Every
yeah.
day. Like, whenever we played those four games in a row, like, I love Scythe, but I was like, it's time.
Yeah, it's weird because like I can do that with video games. I cannot do that with certain activities.
I think it's because video games, like it's realistically progressing almost.
Yeah.
And here you do go through the motions of a lot of board games. Mm-hmm. So, that's why I think it's easier to binge video games than it is to do board games.
But I think it's fair to give it an 8.
An 8?
Because it's just not a bad game.
Yeah.
And the artwork is
I was about to say that.
So
the artwork is magnificent.
Yeah.
I don't know who did the art, if John declared.
It is Elena Danner.
Well, Elena did a fantastic job. Like, this artwork is just amazing.
Yeah. Very, very.
Every location every location feels like there's a story behind it. Like, they just did such a good job on the artwork here. And that's another thing, actually, talking about like the locations and stuff, is that even there's locations with abilities and ones without, and you would think, oh, the ones without don't do anything. But they do. Like the Deep Hollow Border Town, for example, doesn't have an ability of itself, but the card that's paired with it does.
Yeah.
Like, you use that location to do the card. I just think that's really neat as well. So you're giving it an 8.
Yeah.
I am going to give it a 9.5.
Are you sure you're not going to give it 9 3/4?
I'm going to give it a 9 3/4. Because you can win this game by 1/4 of a point, and if that's not taking shit and smearing it on the opponent's face, then I don't know what is. I think it's a 9.5. Like, this game is damn good, and it's not a 10, like, because I wouldn't want to play this game all the time. It's definitely up there. Like, if I was to do another deck building game, it would definitely be on that list. But there are deck builders that I would rather play over this one. But this game is still fantastic. The other thing I was going to give a praise to is it plays well with any number of players, I would imagine, just because nothing really changes, like, except it's more people that you would, I would imagine just the like, at 4 players, for example, you would just have a higher score, because you'd have more guild points, more goodwill, more money coming your way, and you'd cycle through your cards, I think, just as much, but it does work awesome as a 2-player game as well, so yeah, 9 3/4. 9.5 for me, 8 for Kat, so that is our thoughts on Edge of Darkness. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.